Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One, the Author of life, the Source, the Power, the Eternal One, the Perpetual, always in motion, the Supreme, the All, the Almighty. There is none like the point of singularity. Give praise to the truth. Walk in the truth. Be part of the truth. Real quick, touching a parable here. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of an uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. So they have corrupted God into an image. This is why it's so important for you to make the connection that Jesus is the image. 1 Colossians chapter 1 verse 15 Bible Hub. For the Son is the image. Jesus is the image of the invisible God. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible, invisible God into an image made like to corruptible man. All man, once born into this plane of existence, is corruptible. All of them. Even the Israelite men are corruptible. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has to walk through their sins to realize, hey, something ain't right here. Once you start realizing that something ain't right, that's when the Spirit more than likely is going to move upon you. Saul's growing fear of David, David who just defeated Goliath, all right? Revelations 22:16 Bible Hub. I, Jesus, have sent my angels to give you this testimony for the churches. I am Jesus, root and offspring of David. Hold on. How can Jesus be the root and offspring of David if Jesus was born through an immaculate conception? Jesus is the bright morning star. Jesus is the bright morning star. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12 Bible Hub. How you have fallen from heaven, O day star. What's that say right there? From Hala, the morning star. What? Over here, who are we talking about? Lucifer is the one that is fallen from heaven. He is the son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? Who are the nations? The nations here are the Gentiles. Everybody on this plane wants you to believe that we are equally yoked, and they're not. There was something that was created on the sixth day of creation that was made to be taken and destroyed. 2 Peter 2:12 Bible Hub. 2 Peter 2:12 Bible Hub. These men are like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, born to be captured and destroyed. Something was born to be captured and destroyed by what? The destroying angel. Over here, King James Bible, but these as natural brute beasts. The natural is the flesh, made to be taken and destroyed. Something was created and made to be taken and destroyed. They speak evil of things they understand not, which is God, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. After David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself. From the day Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family, and Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic, and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. It sounds like he stripped damn near naked right in front of David. Whatever mission Saul sent him on, David was so successful that Saul gave him high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistines, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs, and with timbrels and lyres. As they danced, they sang, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." Saul was very angry. This refrain displeased him greatly. They have credited David with tens of thousands, he thought, but me with only thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom? And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David. The next day, an evil spirit from God came forcefully on Saul. He was prophesying in his house while David was playing the lyre. As he usually did, Saul had a spear in his hand and hurled it, saying to himself, "I'll pin David to a wall." But David eluded him twice. Twice? Eluded him twice? Why would David give him a second time? Just a question. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David but had departed from Saul. So he sent David away from him and gave him command over 1,000 men. And David led the troops in their campaigns. In everything he did, he had great success because the Lord was with him. When Saul saw how successful he was afraid of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David because he led them in their campaigns. Saul said to David, "Here is my older daughter, Merab. I will give her to you in marriage. Only serve me bravely and fight the battles of the Lord." For Saul said to himself, "I will not raise a hand against him. Let the Philistines do that." But David said to Saul, "Who am I, and what is my family or my clan in Israel, that I should become the king's son-in-law?" So when the time came for Merab, Saul's daughter, to be given to David, she was given in marriage to Adriel of Meholah. Now Saul's daughter, Micah, was in love with David, and when they told Saul about it, he was pleased. "I will give her to him," he thought, "so that she may be a snare to him, and so that the hand of the Philistines may be against him." So Saul said to David, "Now you have a second opportunity to become my son-in-law." Then Saul ordered his attendants, "Speak to David privately and say, 'Look, the king likes you, and his attendants all love you. Now become his son-in-law.'" They repeated word to David, but David said, "Do you think it is a smaller matter to become the king's son-in-law? I'm only a poor man and little known." Well, how can he? That makes no sense. David's little known and just said that everybody loved him. When Saul's servant told him what David had said, Saul replied, "Say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride than 100 Philistines' foreskins to take revenge on his enemy." Saul's plan was to have David fall by the hand of the Philistines. When the attendants told David these things, he was pleased to become the king's son-in-law. So before the allotted time elapsed, David took his men with him and went out and killed 200 Philistines and brought back their foreskins. They counted out the full number to the king so that David might become the king's son-in-law. Then Saul gave him his daughter Micah in marriage. touching real quick on this. Now, in the Bible, earlier in Genesis, it talks about if you kill an Israelite man, then by man's hands you shall be killed. So in this particular case, the Lord, the Spirit, is allowing David to slay the Philistines and cut off their foreskins, and to bring them back. I mean, folks, this is mutilation. This is horrid. Why would anybody want that? Why would anybody command that? Why would anybody ask for that? Shit, man, bring me back their heads, man. I don't want to reach down, grab their junk, and cut their fucking foreskins from their penis. This is morbid, disgusting stuff when I read this. It makes no sense to me. But somehow, the Israelites feel that this is okay. The Israelites' argument that the Gentile have enslaved them, which is no, the Gentile haven't enslaved them. The Gentile were used to enslave you by your own God because you turned your backs on him. You started worshiping other gods. You started going into the towns and cities of the Samaritans. You added gods next to God. You called on other names. So God beat you down with the white man. And then when you're doing right, then God allows you to kill the others with this kind of backlash. Here, cut their foreskins off from their penis and bring it to me. They counted out the full number to the king so that David might become the king's son-in-law. Then Saul gave him his daughter Michal in marriage. Michal. When Saul realized that the Lord was with David and that his daughter Michal loved David, Saul became still more afraid of him, and he remained his enemy the rest of his days. The Philistines' commanders continued to go out to battle, and as often as they did, David met with more success than the rest of Saul's officers, and his name became well known. Well, I thought his name was already well known, and then he wasn't. He said, David himself said that he's not well known, and now he's well known again. Anyways, I'm going to keep this short as a reading. I hope you enjoyed it. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit. This is White Raptor News Ministries.